The writers who finish aren't the ones who wait for perfect conditions. They're the ones who decide the flame is worth tending, even when it's inconvenient, even when it costs something. And finishing changes everything. You don't have to choose between your life and your writing. You just have to stop treating your writing like it doesn't count. Hey, friend. Welcome back to Your Right Life Coach, the podcast for heart-led authors who are ready for motivation and momentum. I'm Alice Kreider, your Right Life Coach, and I'm so glad you're listening in today. I want to talk about something I hear from writers constantly. Maybe you've said it yourself. I just don't have time to write. Sometimes it sounds like, as soon as I get caught up, I'll get back to writing my book. And I want to lovingly, gently, and firmly push back on that. Because here's what I've been noticing, and I mean this with all the care in the world. Those statements are almost never really about time. They're about something deeper, and that's what we're going to unpack today. I titled this episode, Keep the Flame, because it's for the writer who's passionate about your calling. You feel it burning inside, but everything else seems to be drowning it out. If you're someone who can barely find 5 minutes alone, if you're serving your church, your family, your job, or your community all day long, and your writing is the one thing that keeps getting pushed to tomorrow, this one is for you. So let's jump in. I want to take you back to 2017. I was still working as an acquisitions editor at David C. Cook. I had a full life, responsibilities, relationships, a schedule that didn't exactly have a lot of margin in it, but I had an idea burning inside me. What if I built an online course to help writers navigate the wild world of book publishing? I felt so compelled to create it that I took an online course just to learn how to build one. But every week I'd think, I'll start when things slow down. Yeah, you know how that goes. Things don't just slow down. Life doesn't clear a path for your calling. You have to clear it yourself. So I made a decision, a deliberate, eyes wide open, no excuses decision to protect the time to build that course. Not when it was convenient, not when I had the perfect stretch of open schedule, but right then, in the evenings, on the weekends, in the margins of a very full life. And it cost me. I won't pretend it didn't. It cost me hours of sleep. It cost me time I could have spent with my family, hiking with my dogs, or riding my horse. Those were real costs, and I felt them. But here's what it gave me. It gave me fulfillment, deep, bone-level satisfaction that I was doing the thing I was made to do. It also gave me a lot of fun. It became a creative outlet I didn't know I needed. I had forgotten how much joy there is in building something from scratch. It gave me friendships I still treasure to this day, and it gave me a confidence I couldn't have anticipated, the kind that only comes from stepping outside your comfort zone and proving to yourself that you can do hard things. That course became the launch pad for leaving my corporate publishing job and stepping fully into the work I do now, coaching and editing heart-led authors like you. And I want to be clear, I'm not sharing this to say I did it, so you should too. I'm sharing it because I've worked with a lot of writers over the years, and what I see again and again is this. The writers who finish aren't the ones who wait for perfect conditions. They're the ones who decide the flame is worth tending, even when it's inconvenient, even when it costs something. Which brings me to what I want to share with you today. The raw truth is, you're not a victim of your own schedule. I realize that may sound harsh, but really, it should sound liberating. Everyone, every single person on this planet gets the same number of hours and minutes in a day. What separates the writers who finish from the writers who don't isn't how much time they have. It's what they've decided to do with the time they've been given. It's actually a commitment issue, an intentionality issue. And I say that not to shame you, but to set you free. Because if it's a time problem, you're stuck. But if it's a decision problem, you can make a new decision today. Now, before you say, yeah, but you don't know what I'm dealing with, you're right. I don't know your circumstances, but I do know authors who have written and published great books despite extreme circumstances. My friend Beverly was one of those. Beverly had a rare form of muscular dystrophy that was often debilitating. She was so passionate about writing and sharing her hard-won wisdom that she mustered the time and energy to write even when it was physically painful. Before she died a few years ago, she had 4 published books to her name, and a thriving Facebook group where she ministered to others living with physical disabilities like herself. Beverly never fell victim to her very real limitations. Instead, she made the best of her time and gained the fulfillment that comes from serving others. I'm pretty sure she never regretted a single hour she invested in her writing. So let's talk about what it actually looks like to keep the flame alive when life is full and loud and demanding. The first thing I want to say is this: your calling is not one more demand on your life. It's what fills you up so you can meet all the other demands. I've worked with so many writers who feel guilty carving out writing time, like they're taking something away from their family or their work or their ministry. But consider this: when you write, you show up fuller, more alive, more like yourself. That's not selfish. That's sustainable. It's life-giving. An untended fire doesn't just go dim, it goes out. And relighting it takes so much more energy than simply keeping it burning. So tending your flame isn't a luxury, it's an act of stewardship. Now, the second thing, and this is practical, is that tending the flame doesn't require huge blocks of time. It requires consistent, intentional contact with your calling. 20 minutes in the morning before the house wakes up, a voice memo captured on your drive home, one paragraph before you go to sleep. These are not small things. These are the things that keep a manuscript alive. These are the things that keep you alive as a writer. And here's something I tell writers in the Inkwell Collective all the time. If you really can't find a moment to sit and write, not even 15 minutes, try a voice-to-text app on your phone. Capture your ideas out loud while you're folding laundry or walking the dog or driving to the grocery store. Then come back to it and shape it when you have time to sit down. Your creativity does not need a desk. It just needs an outlet. The third thing, and maybe the most important, is this: you have to give yourself permission. Nobody's going to hand it to you. Not your family, not your employer, not your circumstances. You have to decide that your calling counts, that your writing life matters, that saying yes to this is not taking something away from anyone. It's saying yes to the person you were made to be. And I want to make that tangible for you right now. I want you to actually do this right here while you're listening. Finish this sentence in your head, or say it out loud if you're alone in the car. I give myself full permission to, and fill in the blank. Maybe it's something like, I give myself full permission to write for 20 minutes every morning without guilt. Or, I give myself full permission to say no to one thing this week so I can say yes to my writing. Or simply, I give myself full permission to matter. Yes, say it like you mean it, because you do. You're not a better mother or a better leader or a better friend when you abandon what's burning inside you. You're just a more depleted one. And the world and the people who need your book or your books deserve the version of you who is alive inside. I've noticed this pattern for so long, and I've watched it play out in writer after writer. The ones who protect their calling, even imperfectly, even in small ways, are the ones who eventually finish. And finishing changes everything. You don't have to choose between your life and your writing. You just have to stop treating your writing like it doesn't count. You have to stop treating you like you don't count. So here's your invitation for this week. Just one simple thing. I want you to pick one flame-tending ritual, not 5, not a new morning routine, not something that upsets your whole life. Just one small, specific, realistic way you will keep your fire alive this week. Maybe it's 15 minutes at the kitchen table before anyone wakes up. Maybe it's a voice memo on your lunch break. Maybe it's one paragraph before bed. Write it down, put it in your calendar like an appointment you actually keep, and then, and this is important, tell someone. If you're part of the Inkwell Collective, post it in our community chat. Share your one thing with the community there, and we'll show up and cheer for you because that's what we do. If you're not yet in the Inkwell Collective and you're looking for a community of heart-led writers who take each other seriously, come find us. It's the place where the message of this podcast lives in practice every single week. And the link is in the show notes. If you want more resources to support your writing life, come see me at alicekreider.com. There's something waiting for you there. If this episode resonated with you, please hit subscribe wherever you're listening. Share it with a writer in your life who needs the reminder that their calling is worth protecting too. And if you have a minute, leaving a review helps more heart-led authors find their way here. I'm genuinely grateful for every single one. Here's one of the reviews I got recently. Somebody said, I needed another solid writers podcast, and Alice has filled that need. I've greatly benefited from her services the last several years. She's the real deal. This podcast allows writers to freely glean from Alice's awesome talent and experience. Don't hesitate, download the show. Thank you, whoever that was that didn't leave your name there, but I appreciate it so much, and I hope you'll keep listening. You've got a story worth telling and a message to deliver. The flame is still there. Go tend it. Thank you for listening, friend. I'll be back next week with more Right Life coaching.